What would the name of your debut album be?
The name of my debut album? The name of my debut album.
Letters from Homeschool.
That's good. That's good.
That's very Adele.
Yeah. That's good.
So you're doing ballads, huh? All right.
It could be. They could also be like pop punk songs.
All I want is I'm really excited for your interludes and vignettes between songs.
Yeah. Like it would be very like pop punk with like an R&B vibe, right? Like
featuring Casey and JoJo.
It would be very eclectic, I think, overall.
Okay, that's what's because what does that even sound like?
I'm excited for that one track with the sitar. You know,
it's like a progression of age, just a whole telling, like a whole life story. And it's just like that age 13 to like 14. It's like, why am I sitting here? I want to go outside with my friends, but I'm so lonely.
So you're on a shonen.
Yeah.
You're definitely a shonen opening.
What about you, Josh?
Go all the way.
Debut album. Cats. It's not what you think.
I like it.
Cats. Colon?
Colons or parentheses?
Yes.
It's not what you
I
think.
feel like parentheses would make more sense. Because cats. It's not what you think.
Exclamation point.
In giant letters. Oh, man, that'd be dope. You do cats all like lowercase letters, and then it's not what you think in all caps.
I think it would be statement with an exclamation point.
Just statement?
Statement. Yeah.
Part of that, like, I think that would be the response would be Josh's response when people pick it up. They're just like, They're kind of like, is this a cry for help? No. Are we indulging him at the moment?
Now you're getting it.
Favorite candy and why? It's not what you think.
Hershey's Gold.
Ooh.
Hershey's Gold.
Is that a
is like,
throwback?
it was a limited edition thing, and then they were like, oh no, people like this a lot. That's there was a time when like Tina would come home from work with like 6 bars. I was like, yeah, I like that.
Run me, mom.
I was like, I like that a lot.
Rolo.
Really?
The combination of chocolate and caramel, easy. Gets me every time. Also like 100 grams. Same thing.
100 grams be slapping, and people sleep on them. Stop sleeping on 100 grams. Not okay.
I guess I'm a basic bitch. And Kit Kat.
No, Kit Kat's great. The wafers, it's really good. Yeah.
That's not basic. That's a very complex candy bar.
I like it.
Put some respect on Kit Kat's name, right?
I was like, I don't know why this is triggering me, but it is. It's not basic.
I like Kit Kat.
There's layers. First of all, there's layers.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And as long as you're not eating it like a psychopath, like you good.
That's true.
Like that candy bar teaches you patience.
You want to unpack that?
Yes. Let's do it.
That's the one you want to unpack?
Sure. Why not? Let's do it. So, as you know, if you're holding a Kit Kat, right? Like you break off one.
Yeah.
Chocolate ain't melted on your fingers yet. So you good. Just go ahead. Enjoy.
Right.
That second one, it's been sitting in your hand for a little bit.
A little bit.
Chocolate's starting to shift a little bit. The molecules are starting to coagulate. You're like, all right, let's keep going.
You're losing me with this jargon, buddy.
The third one, you like, all right, snap. Now you just got like a whole fingerprint of wafer here from your other hand.
But so you don't keep your Kit Kats in the package?
Oh no, why you? It's a candy bar.
Because of what you are describing.
I have questions now. So do you mean to sit here and tell me when you get a Twix bar, you didn't undress the whole Twix bar and then just hold it?
Oh no. Twix bar has a little box cardboard thing to hold the second one, didn't it?
But you also just have the wrapping.
Yeah, but that holds heat.
Sit it on the table.
There's somebody might
No, it's too much. It's too much. We gotta cut it here. And the time is right. The place is now. My name is Ace Trainer Argent, and I am welcoming you to BNR, presented by the Blur Bar. Now, I'm just one of your three hosts. If you take a look to my right, your left, stage right. I think I did this last time. Kicking it over to the man. Speak to the people.
Yo.
Look at him, so well lit. Praise God.
I do what I can. Tis I, hailing from the land of Sake, Shinobi, and Samurai. The boy is Godzilla personified. Ain't no other name but this to go by. It's your boy, J-Hawk. And there is still one more who needs to introduce himself. Over to the left. If you look over there, who is it? It's
to the left,
me.
To the left.
Big Dan.
Rodan.
Coming at you live from the 215. Your comic book connoisseur, your sommelier of sci-fi and superheroes. Here to welcome you to another episode of BNR My Barflies. That's right. It's AKA DJ. Can I get another order of...
Coco Melon?
No, just that's me. Always in the drive-thru.
Would you say you're trapped in the drive-thru?
No.
Trapped in the drive-thru.
I'm never trapped. They kind of keep me moving along. They're just like, because I'd be like, can I get two orders of? And they know that I'm in the car by myself, so they know it's for me. They're like, you know, you don't need this.
No, they just think you're bringing it to your family.
No, they don't.
Who you love and protect.
You can't keep ordering large lemonades, and people start wondering, like, you can't.
Can't or won't. Barflies, you answer.
You
so BNR stands for Booze, News, and Reviews. Now we got a classic for booze. I'm so excited. I'm kicking it over to Josh because I helped.
I don't know why. Here we go. We got.
Yeah, you gotta put that in the shot, boy.
You don't have to. You don't.
I'm excited.
You didn't have to do that, but you did. We got Jack Keen or Joaquin. Joaquin blackberry flavored brandy.
Don't sound so excited, chum.
Coming from 3 generations from the Cooper family, they have been crafting a full range of spirits, liquors, and ready-to-drink cocktails from the heart of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And it was established in 1884. To hear about the actual flavor of the blackberry flavored brandy, creamy and rich brandy with serious herbal and spice character. A nose of vanilla and spice leads to a flavorful palate with a ginger kick. This long and tangy flavor profile mixes well with champagne, if you so desire.
It does. I'm gonna break this glass.
Just
Take some. Okay. Anyway, Big Dan, how you feeling?
How am I feeling about it? Do you remember the memories?
What?
If you know anything about Joaquin. Yeah, nah, it is a staple, and that's as much as you can say about it. Like, it's just. I would almost say that this is like, all right, this is the mid, right? This is. I'm trying to be nice, like, for real. Like, I want to be very nice about this.
This syrup.
Yep. Okay. Tell me how you really feel.
Coming in at 70 proof, though. 70 proof. So
that's the sugar headache stuff.
It's,
that's that stuff that like gives you them sugar headaches.
I think it's really good on the back end, actually. Like when you taste the alcohol, like I tasted the alcohol first, but all the flavor behind it is actually very nice. So it's good for sipping.
This is like the first form of like Di Serono. Like,
excuse me?
Like Di Serono is the final form.
Okay.
This is like they just made it and I was like, hey, do something with this. Try it.
Sip this.
Sip this. But I mean, they still sell it, so
yeah,
somebody's buying it. You know?
Yeah.
So it's a drink.
So how you feeling about it overall? Would you say
Overall, I'd give this. Let me do one more sip just to make sure.
I'll join you. This is a 70 proof now.
Mm-hmm.
And brandy is no joke because it's basically sugar, so it amplifies.
This is a cordial, which is a sweet liqueur.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's unfortunate? The more you drink it, it's like it's not that bad, right?
But that's the alcohol. That's almost like the way alcohol works in general.
Nah,
right?
but there are alcohols where it's like the first sip is like, oh, this is like really good. This is like the first couple sips were rough, and now that like my throat has been like, shellacked. Shellacked.
Shadracked me shacked. And a billy goody.
Oh goodness. I still give it a 2 though.
Yeah. I was trying to be nice. I was really trying to find something nice to say. I couldn't think of anything.
How is it with the lemonade?
Oh, so I
Off camera,
I did a little mixture here of Wawa lemonade, because if we're gonna go Philly, why don't we just go all the way? Wawa. Shout out to Wawa for saving this. As a cocktail, 3. It's a solid drink. By itself, it's people. There are brandies out there that will treat you nice.
We do this so you don't have to.
Yeah. There's brandies that are going to take you out to a nice dinner, walk you home, have a conversation with you, and then go about their business. This is one of them aggressive people that would be like, so what we about to get into? Like, they didn't pay for the meal, right? Like, they were like, I left my credit card at home, all of that. And then still be the person to be like, so we watching TV at your place? Or like, because I don't have like a headboard, so...
Okay, all right.
Or box spring.
You made your point clear.
So,
you made your point clear.
1.5.
I was so excited for this too.
Were you? I think you were excited because of the name, right? Like you wanted to.
Yes, it's a name I've been seeing my whole life.
You wanted to remember it for what it was.
You know what it was? You know what it was? I felt like a big boy because I get to drink the Joaquins. Okay, all right. Let's move on. Who got news?
You know what? Now that you mention that, right? Like we all remember it as an auntie and uncle staple, and I now understand why. Yeah, I understand.
Because bills would do.
Bills were due. And they were like, if I gotta get drunk, here's the exit ramp, right?
Hey.
Here's the exit to 676 right here. They were like, I gotta get across town. How do I do that from 30th Street? 676.
Right there.
Traffic jam. It's not the best way, but it's the way that's gonna get me there.
Still 70 proof.
Yeah.
We got some news besides.
Do not buy this.
No.
I feel like we weren't clear in our statements here. Like we gave it numbers, we gave it ratings. I gave it a 1.5. What did you give it?
I don't want to talk about it.
Right, you didn't say anything. Before you
got
trying to just
to.
move on to news.
Yeah.
What are
It's a 2, dude.
Okay.
I know. The spices come through very nice on
They
the end,
do.
though.
but it's syrup.
It is syrup.
Like this is something a splash of this goes into another mixed
Sure.
drink.
Yes.
Yeah.
A splash of this. Do not drink this by itself.
This is an ingredient. This is not a drink.
Okay. Sure. That's where I went wrong.
It's a light ingredient.
Yeah.
Don't use
It's a hint.
Do not get heavy-handed with this.
Definitely just a splash.
This is that footnote at the bottom of the ingredients list.
Other flavors.
Right, optional. Yeah. Josh, you got news for us?
Josh got news. And we welcome you to Shot Scene. So the breakdown is one member of the Blur Bar asks another member of the Blur Bar questions. You get it wrong, gotta take a shot. If you get it right, you may take a shot. if you so desire. So it seems that I found this.
Sorry. Go ahead.
You done?
Nope.
You good?
Are you finished?
Or are you done? Go ahead.
All right, who's asking me a question? I'm going to answer it with my eyes closed.
J-Hawk
I
is
will
asking
ask
the
you the questions.
Mm-hmm.
Question number 1.
Ready.
Alistair is a gym leader in Pokemon Shield. What type of Pokemon does he specialize in?
Ghost type.
Ah, that is correct.
Oh, look at you.
Why'd you ask me a Pokemon question? Come on now. Come on
They're
now,
all
baby.
Pokemon questions.
All right, that's fun. That's fun and interesting. Maybe I'll get them all right. Find out next time. In the meantime, back to our regularly scheduled program.
I got news.
You got news?
28-year-old civil servant in Japan suspended for 6 months for writing light novels. It was reported that someone working as a civil servant in Hiratsuka City in Kanagawa Prefecture was suspended for 6 months without pay for publishing 4 light novel books, which earned him the equivalent of $28,000 while on sick leave from his full-time job, breaking the local Public Service Act. Instead of taking the punishment of being suspended for 6 months without pay, he quit.
I mean,
He was like, you know what? That's how you're going to treat me? Then I'm out. And we don't know like who the man's name is or what the light novels were, but he decided to not do it. And so to give more light to the situation, the local Public Service Act doesn't allow government employees to have a separate part-time job. And this is in Japan, a civil service job is one of the most sought after career paths, with only a few positions available per year for new graduates and a grueling exam process to even be considered. The career path is known to be highly stable with easy promotions based on years worked, years worked and seniority of age, rather than merit. So, I mean, wow.
Jinkies.
Right. With all the details surrounding the job enshrined in the local Public Service Act. So yeah, what is it? It doesn't allow government employees to have a separate part-time job, as it may interfere with their government job, but does allow civil servants to take up writing activities, including for payment. Issues arose when the 28-year-old in question was away from work on sick leave, which not only nets the man a salary from work to help him stay home and recover, but doesn't allow him to take up any other paid work, as he should be focusing on recovering.
That sounds like some hateration for me, but maybe I'm drawn.
A little bit. So there was an investigation. He had not only written 4 books, but also posted 256 stories on a net novel site and promoted his books on Twitter over 10,000 times.
Hold on. How many stories?
256.
I need to step my game up, man.
Right. So they suspended the man for 6 months without pay, yada, yada. He opted to quit. The employee, who was a manager where he worked, thought he didn't need to get permission to write the books, as there are many writers who write novels while working as civil servants. So yeah, that happened. And it was, I just thought that was like very interesting. Like you don't know what you don't know. You know, count your blessings, name them one by one. There are some blessings. Get those side hustles going.
Yeah, you got anything else for us, buddy?
That's it.
Slow news day.
That's it.
Dan, you got news, pal?
I do. I have a few things. So,
Big Dan.
Uncharted released its trailer over the past week. I'm excited. I'll be honest. I'm low key excited because I've always felt like the Uncharted games played out like a movie.
They did. I would agree.
However, I don't know if we needed live action, rather than just like take all the cutscenes from the game and mash them together.
I mean, didn't we say that same thing with Wait.
You decide. So, obviously, starring Tom Holland, Mark Wahlberg as Sully, Tom Holland as Nathan Drake,
Nathaniel,
and some other pretty solid actors for this. My concern is because of how ambitious they are going to be in these movies to try to recreate the stunts that they did in the actual game. I'm worried that the movie will fall flat. Very much like Tomb Raider, very much like Assassin's Creed.
Oh, I forgot about Assassin's Creed.
sometimes you don't need to make a video game movie.
Dare I say, most times.
Right.
Most times. And we know we're getting a Mario movie. But just to
Are
wrap
we?
up, we are.
Yeah,
Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt for some reason. Jack Black is Bowser.
Oh, I did hear about that.
I'm more at peace about the Jack Black part than Chris.
And Keegan
Pratt.
Michael Key, baby.
as
Is he
Toad.
Toad?
Yes.
Yeah.
But that makes sense. That makes sense because I feel like we've always heard Toad's voice, and it was just like, I'm pretty sure that's a grown man.
Yeah, it's Charles Martinet. He does everybody. He's Mario.
No. I'm saying, but Toad's voice, right? Like he should sound like a grown man, rather
Instead,
than
he sounds
instead
like
of
a
like
child.
he sounds very much like a
Right.
child, and I feel like that as a grown man that has been doing like royalty work for a long time. Anyway, Uncharted comes out February 18th of 2022.
Wow.
So, if you've already taken your girl out for a date and you're like, but let's go see a movie. And you're like, what do you have in mind? Uncharted. I mean,
Don't do it.
don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
I've learned. I have some other news here. Brendan Fraser has been casted as a villain in the new Batgirl movie. They haven't said what villain. There's going to be a Batgirl movie that comes directly to HBO Max. So,
Kite man.
Is this going to be? Well, I guess it wouldn't be from the show.
no. So this Jim Gordon is played by J.K. Simmons. So
Still?
yeah. So that means it's in the Snyderverse.
I was tired, boss. I was
I mean-
real tired.
Yeah. So take it how you will. And I had one more piece of news. What was it? Trying to remember. It was something good too. Oh, possible rumors of Why the Last Man being picked up by HBO Max,
What?
which makes sense if you're going to if they're going to do anything right with it, because I feel while the first season was very slow, HBO Max will probably be more responsible and just like pick up the pace.
Let's go.
Right. Also, HBO Max low key has been picking up other shows that have been canceled other places and then revitalizing them.
Did they pick up Legends?
Legends. What was
Like
Legends?
DC Legends?
Legends of Tomorrow?
Yeah.
I
Where
don't
did
know.
I see that?
Maybe.
Might have been Netflix. I don't
Or
know.
maybe they were in Titans. I don't. Yeah, who knows? But yeah. Other than that, there was a Trenches movie that was being developed by Warner Brothers, but then rumors came out that it was actually supposed to be a Black Manta movie, and then they got rid of it. Got scrapped. So, yeah, that's my news. Sterling, do you have news?
I have a couple of pieces of news. Yes.
Cool.
So I'm just going to go through some releases for November video games. Now
Oh,
we
that
all
man. Oh.
we all know about the Call of Duty Vanguards. We all know about the Animal Crossing DLC, which is dropping November 5th. But here's what you don't know. Forza Horizon 5, November 9th. Okay. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic will be out for Switch on November 11th. Shin Megami Tensei, also for Switch. Shin Megami Tensei 5, the classic RPG. And what else we got? Beyond a Steel Sky, releasing for all consoles originally slated for 2020, is now getting released in 2021. So that's all we got for video game news. Very straightforward. We did the booze. We had some news. And now, Josh, please let us know, what are we reviewing this episode? Lucky 13. And welcome back to Shot Seed.
Tadaima!
Question number 2.
Number 2.
I'm still going to
Number
answer with
two.
my eyes closed.
The creator of Pokemon was inspired by which hobby? A. Bird watching. B. Fishing. C. Insect collecting. D. Card tricks.
What is C? Insect collecting. And I already know I'm This is great. I'm excited for this third one.
I didn't know the answer to that. Surprised.
Come back for the third one because this one is oof. But in the meantime, back to our regularly scheduled program.
This episode, we're reviewing Dune. Right here.
Yes, that.
It's like every time you hear Dune, like somebody like laments in the background. That'd be great.
I mean, I don't want to get into our review yet.
Where do we even want to start?
I'll start because I feel like I'm gonna be the only one. I'm gonna be the only one who feels the way that I feel about this.
Okay. The floor is yours.
So Dune, if you don't know, is a book. It started off as a book,
as most movies are,
right? And they made it into a movie back in the 80s. I want to say 84. Could be wrong though, but yeah, they made it to a movie. Then they made it into a movie now, and so now we're reviewing it because they got better quality. I have not read the book. I will say, this movie, I think, I would love to hear people who did read the book, what they thought of it. But I think this movie was a love letter to fans of the book, even if that fan was the director himself. And then 2, I think this movie did a really good job at pointing me to wanting to read the book, because I thought there was so much stuff that even on screen, I'm like, oh, I feel like this scene is actually like a few pages long. Or like maybe a page or 2, but like there's like probably a lot of detail going into this scene than what is being shown. And I think that's the case with almost any book. I mean, if you look at Harry Potter, that was a big thing that I heard a whole lot, where it's like, hey, they didn't even like show like all the stuff. And it's like, well, it's a 500-page book, so
you're a 500-page book.
So yeah, I think that's the biggest thing that I took away from this. I was like, okay, so they're doing this in, what is it? Like, it's going to be there's going to be a sequel and possibly a trilogy, I guess. So it's like, you have time. If you haven't read it, you have time to read it. And I think that the book's going to be really cool. But I also think that this,
I believe it's books, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Oh yeah, it is books. I think the second movie, I guess, is supposed to wrap up the first book though. But don't quote me on that. But yeah, I think this, you have time to read it, and I think it's going to be a really cool read. I think that we are in a time and place where you can do a big fantastical sci-fi movie, and it looked good to me. I thought the acting was pretty great. I mean, it's a sci-fi film, so it's like, it's a sci-fi film. Like, I don't like know what you expect, but I think everybody who had like actual parts, I thought they did really well. I think what was interesting was everybody living in the sand was POC, or like some kind of POC. Like, I feel like there were a lot of people of color in servant positions, and I don't know. I haven't read the book, so I don't know what that's all about. But like optics, right? Like, I think that was an interesting choice, I'll say. But they did have the one dude who was the general. He's like super light skinned. He has like a white beard. He's kind of heavy set.
Oh yeah.
No, he's like legendary actor.
Yeah. He is legendary. I recognized his face. I was like, oh, him. He's in here. That's cool. Yeah, I thought, all in all, I thought it was like a really fun time, really fun read. I was not really expecting it to be, for it to be that long. I was expecting a bit more to happen. I will say that. I was kind of surprised that a lot of what you see in the trailer is just like
The movie.
Yeah.
Bull.
So take it or leave it, but it got me interested in the book, and if that's all he wanted to do, then that's great. And I think people who read the book, I think they would enjoy it. So it's cool.
All right.
So
if you want to rate it,
yeah, what we looking at, big fella?
To rate it, I give it a 3.5. Give it a 3.5.
Coolio.
Interesting. Big Dan, you want to go last, I guess? Seeing as you are the sommelier of sci-fi.
See, but I feel like that's starting to become unfair, right? Like, it just means I get to talk longer. I'm not mad about it, but
And now for the final shot scene.
It's the
Boom.
final shot scene.
All right, let's do it. Let's see what's up. Let's get it crack-a-lackin', as they said in 2002.
Yes. What was the first Pokemon that Satoshi caught himself?
The first Pokemon that Satoshi caught himself. It's not going to be Pikachu. It's not going to be... I want to say it's going to be... Oh, fuck. It's either Caterpie or Pidgeotto. I think... I want to say Caterpie, because I think he tried to battle it with Pidgeotto, and then they're like, no, that doesn't work because it's a bug type, and he just zapped it with Pikachu. I'm going to say Caterpie. Final answer. Let's go.
And that was a great trick question because I said Satoshi and not Ash.
that's important.
Look, man, they don't call me Ace Trainer for nothing, but for
Back
the
to
meantime,
regular scheduled programming.
Wow. Wow.
That's fine. That's fine.
You're the first nigga to get all three.
That's fine.
I was not going to let you have that moment. We've had to walk out of here with shots, bullet holes, wounds, nigga. You ever seen a squid with one eye, nigga? Sure, I'll go last.
So-
It's easier that way.
Dune, unfortunately, and these guys will tell you, I was heated. I was not able to read this book before watching this movie because I think this is a story that but like set a staple for a genre, right? Like this is a story that's known far and wide. So I really wanted to see what the details were about. What was this tale about, you know? So I watched this film and it made me realize how much I enjoy large worlds with a lot of political intrigue and a lot of like moving about the shadows, because I don't think any character really stood out to me or I connected with any character, but I was very interested to see like, okay, where are these moving pieces going? Who's betraying who? Is the emperor a jerk? Like the movement of all the houses, that was really cool to me. So I really like Game of Thrones. I like the largeness of Magic the Gathering lore. Like I like seeing stuff come together. I think this film was absolutely breathtaking, visually. Done by the same director as Blade Runner 2049. So all of those shots and like from a cinematography standpoint.
Yeah.
Joaquin! From a cinematography standpoint, it was absolutely magnificent. When I get in the house, I am downloading this score. It was just magnificent. Just magnificent. So for the cinematography, the visuals, the score, like this is a very great movie, and it makes me like really sad on what I'm missing in that story of like how well did it translate, you know? Things I enjoyed. Those are all the things I enjoyed. Things I didn't really care for, or I guess something that I'm looking at realizing like this story was written in the 60s, right? So Paul, the main character, is just not a Mary Sue, but like he can just kind of do anything, you know, like whatever the problem arises. Like, can he throw hands? He can throw hands. Can he see the future? He can see the future. Do all these people respect him for some strange reason? All these people respect him for some strange reason. Like
He's a shonen character.
No, no, no.
Whoa. Yes.
No.
All right.
No.
Now my turn.
No. Ultimately, I'm going to piggyback off of the 3.5. This film, I would say, was a feast for the eyes. Very heavy on the imperialism, bad theme here.
I will say though, well, I had two things, but one thing to your point of he can do anything, and I think they explained this in the movie. One, he is of royal bloodline.
Sure.
So like, yes, he
got trained by Thanos,
right? Yeah, he like they got to teach him to throw hands because you might be, I don't know, caught somewhere. So
you might get kidnapped.
Right, do something like and Jason Momoa's not gonna be there, right? So
so many things. So many things.
But so that's one thing. So I think that to the point of him being able to do everything, like he's been trained that way. His mom is like, you know, a witch for lack of better words. Yeah. So
Illuminati, get it right.
So
Xavier.
So there's that. So I think those things working in his favor made him be the person that he is.
He was bred for
right
the oneness of his existence.
Sure.
Right. Yes.
Does it make for an interesting character though? I'm not saying it doesn't make sense. I'm saying does it make for an
you
interesting
asked
character?
a question. Hopefully people answer for it.
I think seeing him in this moment right now, or where we saw him in the movie, I think it could, because you're seeing him. He's kind of like, you know, Shinji getting a robot. Like they're like, Shinji getting a robot. He's like, oh, what a robot? Where did you get a robot? I don't want to get in here. And they're like, bro, we have crafted this for you.
You were
get
made
in the
for
robot.
This.
And so like you're seeing him come into his own. Like, I guess I am really good at piloting this. Like, I think it could be an interesting story. I think they are doing it well. I think it could get like played out or whatever. I don't think that happened here though.
Okay. All right. Second question and last question before we pass over to Big Dan. And now, Barflies, I need your input on this. Can Jason Momoa act?
Ooh,
I would like yes or no,
that's a
please.
good question.
I love a yes or no. So y'all ponder that. Pause the video.
Can I answer that question?
There's
first?
a lot of whispering in this movie too.
Oh, so much whispering. And then like just no dialogue at all, but then still dialogue. Right? There was not. It wasn't actual sign language. It was hand gestures.
Their form of sign language.
Yeah.
But what sucked about that was that there would be whispering. I'm like, wait, what'd you say? Turn it up, and then it's and I'm like, God damn, okay.
Yep.
Like, so
Can't win for losing.
Can't go back now.
Right. So, but yeah, no, that was it was interesting.
Yeah. All right. I have feelings about this movie.
Oh, please.
No. That's John. Hey, press the button. You know what you did. Come on. There you go. Okay.
You earned that button.
You earned that button. As your sci-fi sommelier, right? I've seen the 1984 movie.
Ooh.
Years ago.
Ooh.
So much so that I knew what I was getting into with this movie. Was I entirely correct in my expectations? No. One, Dune, the first movie, I would say almost 100% of the cast, or 99 or 95% of the cast was just white.
Damn.
White. Everybody. The Freeman. I almost called them sand people. We do not do that here. That is very much a thing we don't do.
We'll get
that's Star Wars.
We'll get it in post.
Sand people are Star Wars.
We'll get it in post.
It's not a thing.
Star Wars.
It's Star Wars, not Dune. As a sommelier of sci-fi, I'm not going to intermingle different stories here. However, had a phenomenal cast back in the day. a pretty strong cast for when you look at it. To be a very fringe sci-fi movie, right? Like
Patrick
Star Wars.
Stewart.
Star Wars had already came out and was pretty much wrapping up its thing.
Mm-hmm.
But you had Kyle MacLachlan, Francesca Annis, Patrick Stewart.
Wait, what was that first name you said?
Kyle MacLachlan.
Oh. Yeah, he earned that.
Yeah.
He earned
That's
that.
what I said, right? Callan? No, how did I say that right?
I think it's McLaughlin.
MacLachlan. That's what I said.
Sure.
Maybe. I don't know.
Patrick Stewart.
Patrick Stewart. And then Sting, right? Those were like the big names. If you were going to see this movie, like that's what you were. That was the drawback then. And then this cast for the 2021 release was much more diverse. However, to Josh's point of like character placement, not diverse as you think. Because of the overarching theme of imperialism, it was really hard to like grin and bear. Okay, these people are brown because they're on a planet that's pretty much dry, right? Like the sun is brutal.
Yes.
Out of 20 hours out of the day.
Yes.
They can't have oceans because the hand of God and the moon like will mess with the waves, so it's just dry. And you're like, okay, I guess. But outside of those themes, like you could be really. What this movie made me realize is like sometimes we go into these movies being really sensitive. Like just like the story has already been written, right? Dune has already been a book that's been written, and when movies are created and packaged and adapted around that, sometimes you're as a director you're trying to meet that need of how to visualize what is already on paper. And I think sometimes our expectations are too much into how PC can this be. For better or worse. Sometimes sometimes we're very responsible in that feeling. And I think it helps us. And then sometimes I feel like just taking it at face value and then kind of looking at it for future reference, maybe we can do better the next go around. But I feel like I was already too sensitive about it. I was like, Zendaya's in this, where are they going to place her? And I already knew that she was going to be Chani, and I was like, well, we don't really see Chani in the first part, like, and I think that was a big draw to get like the younger audience to watch this, and audience, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was very surprised at how little I actually saw of her.
And
well,
I mean,
speaking,
right. And then, you got to get the prettiest boy in Hollywood to play Paul, like Timothy Chalamet. And you know what? I have no hate toward him as an actor. At the same time, I'm just like, he seems generic to me. Am I wrong?
You might be bugging.
Does he?
I think he delivered. His performance. He was tortured. I believe.
No,
he
like
was
I feel
tortured.
like, but that could have been done by any long-haired,
like who?
Prepubescent Tom Holland.
No.
Tom Holland couldn't have done this.
No.
Y'all are both bugging. Apparently, you give me this bottle. Y'all can't have any more.
Okay.
You're done. You're done for the night.
Okay.
Apparently, y'all been drinking.
When have we seen Tom Holland be
have.
troubled?
What do you mean?
I think Timothy Brood is better.
Brood's
Brood?
better.
Brood's better.
Yeah.
Brood's better. I mean,
Like imagine
I feel like
imagine
I could've
Finn
done-
Wolfhard trying to be.
I could have done.
Paul.
I could have seen this like Robert Pattinson, right? Like I could have seen a young Adam Driver. Like I could have seen.
They all brood very well.
They're just brooding.
So
but that's what I'm saying.
I
Like,
see
it's
Adam
an-
Driver. If you're gonna go for like long-haired, broody person,
That's
sure.
what I'm saying. It's just. I
But
felt
like Adam Driver also is a good actor, though. Like Timmy,
you call
Timothy Chalamet is also a very good actor. I'm not saying that Tom Holland is not a good actor. I'm saying I feel like I've seen Timothy in other roles where like we have seen him in depth, like half depth, I should say.
I watched a few movies with Tom Holland outside of him being Spider-Man.
Chaos Walking.
Not that.
The movie he played Tesla.
It's the movie that he's in with Robert Pattinson. It's about like down south or whatever. It's he's actually really good, and he does play a tortured soul, and it's really well done. Anyway, moving on. I just personally have feelings about Timothy Chalamet, but that's just what it is.
I get
Moving
it.
on. Let me get back to the movie, and then we'll break down like some other parts.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So
here you go.
no. Thank you. I guess the movie visually astounding. This was a phenomenal visually, like the aesthetic, everything, like the filters they used when they were in the sand, like the pure contrast of Caladan versus Arrakis, amazing. Largely because in the first movie you don't see Caladan, like you see indoors at Caladan. So like you didn't understand like the richness of the mountains, the green, the water, right? Like it made, because of that sharp contrast, and you felt like, oh, I'm thirsty, I need water.
I don't need it.
The action was lacking, but I think because people thought that this was going to be another sci-fi movie action, like a sci-fi action movie, that's probably where you get let down. Like, because the trailer like amped up those moments, and it's a lot of the punches of the trailer.
So are we talking about the amount of action or the quality of action?
I would say the amount, because I think people went in thinking that this was going to be like action-packed ride, and I
Did you go in thinking that? Okay,
no. I watched the first Dune. I was like, this is a lot of talking. I'm grateful for the one thing that they didn't do in the first one, which was like a lot of voiceover acting, like he's in the sand and then he has thinking to himself, very anime-ish, and it's like, if only I could do da 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 da, use the voice, and and so I was glad they didn't do that.
Show, don't tell.
Right. The director was definitely very much like, let's make this visually pleasing while we give you some exposition. This was exposition heavy. Like, if you're gonna, I would say, if anything, maybe the second one will be a little bit more action packed, because that it's building up to something. Can we talk about the fact that Jason Momoa didn't have a beard for like the second half of his scenes, and it bothered me?
I was very surprised. I was like, huh.
But it was to Sterling's point, right? Is Jason Momoa a good actor, or is he just Jason Momoa in everything?
I think I need to see him in like a very different role.
But see, Khal Drogo, I feel like, is his own character. Jason Momoa played Khal Drogo, but I would say Khal Drogo was himself. Like, that was a character that we saw. Aquaman, definitely Jason Momoa.
Just Jason Momoa.
It's just Jason Momoa. Duncan, Idaho,
just Jason Momoa.
Definitely just Jason Momoa.
Where's Duncan, Idaho from?
Dune.
Oh. I thought you were saying
no,
talking about like sea or something like that.
No, I'm sorry. Right, that almost sounds like it could be.
Honestly, I had to look up what was his name? The leader of the Freemen.
Javier?
His name is Javier Stilgar.
Yeah.
Cuz I like in this setting,
he looked so different, didn't he?
He did, but in this setting, names mean nothing for a lot of the characters.
Oh yeah,
like,
no. The star
for
power
me personally,
the star power they went in with was not the star power they ended the movie with.
I was like, I understand that this character is important. I will probably learn his name by the second movie.
Yeah.
Like, but I knew Paul. Like,
right.
Hey, Paul, I know you. You Timothy. Like,
no, the names are not very important. They're very interchangeable as far as the story's being concerned, because Paul's the main character. Johnny will be important. Lady Jessica. But no, I think the star power of this movie was phenomenal. But if I gotta rate this movie, and then we can have a little more further discussion after this, it's better than the first one, and I feel like while the first one's a cult classic, this one is probably more mainstream. So I give it a 3.4. I'd give it a 3.5 just to be safe. I won't crap on it too much. I think if anything, it was just more so like you got to know what you're getting into, baby. Like it's really that. Like you can't go into the movie thinking you're going to get the
Blade.
the pop culture sci-fi movie. It's not. That's not what this is. And you got pieces of that, right? Like with the sandworm and like the combat.
Shields were really cool.
The shields actually, there was some plot. What's the word that I'm thinking of?
Plot holes.
Plot holes with some of the shields.
What? How so?
Like apparently the only way that you get breakthrough it was if you were moving slower, right? But sometimes in the combat fighting scenes,
I thought the shield just slowed things down.
Yeah.
right? But like if you're doing a quick strike against it,
Mm-hmm.
it's supposed to like deflect it.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes they were doing like quick strikes, and maybe I just gotta watch closer. Like the only other way that you could penetrate the shield is if you were already holding on to them, and then drove the blade into them. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you've watched,
I feel like
there are certain times where I was like watching it, and like shields were deflecting sometimes, and then other times he like Duncan's fight scene, right, where he's like his last
Going
fight
ham,
scene.
yeah.
He was like going up. It was just like it for me. There were scenes that just didn't always utilize the shields properly.
But I think the shield, I don't think it had. I think it had a finite amount of force that it could take, and Duncan was using 2. So he was hitting people with 1 and then stabbing with the other because he hit him and pushed it till it turned red. And
Maybe
that's what I thought anyway. Because the whole point of like them using darts because you saw it stop on the shield,
right,
and then
but then it kept
pushed
going.
going.
Yeah. So that's why I was like, I think it's supposed to slow it down, but like with enough force. Like it seemed like Duncan was like there was the thing where he was in the hallway and he threw the sword, and then he did this leaping jump of a knee kick to the dude. I was like, oh, so he's supposed to be like
the bull.
Super, like the
fighter bull.
And that's one thing that I think in the book would have been like explained more, like why Duncan is like who Duncan, he is, right, like, and why he's the movie so badass. Doesn't do that, yeah. You pick up on it, but yeah, it's not nuanced, like
if anything.
So yeah, I thought that was interesting, but I just thought I don't think this was a bad movie. I think it was a great spectacle of a movie. And like I said, I think the biggest thing for me was that it, to your point, Sterling, it opened up a universe of like, oh, there's like a lot of like stuff going on. Like this is a big sandbox to play in, and I would have wanted to dive into that sandbox. I just knew I wasn't about to read the book before we talked about it today. Like I felt like I have not looked at the book, but with what I've heard, I feel like the book is like 300 pages long.
Minimum.
So like I was like, I'm not getting through that. Even in the like audiobook, I'm like,
audiobook, it is 20 hours, but you can go 1.4 times speed to knock those hours down.
I feel like that would probably work.
That's what I do.
With the way that some of the dialogue was delivered in the movie, I feel like you probably could do 1.4 and still not miss anything.
The way they did the voice was cool.
The voice was kind of cool. Like the use,
I like
it. Almost felt like the Fourths a little bit, but then it was.
But sure,
it was like very strong suggestion.
Sure, but
no, it was Indominated Will, wasn't it?
It was like powerful suggestion because he had to like find his pitch
right
to the point that it made psychic connection with the end user.
If only.
Turn your computer off.
Ways that we'd use the voice.
Ways that I'd use the voice. I said, sit down. It's bedtime.
If only.
I'm gonna go play the video games.
I saw a.
It would not work on my wife.
It was a video by Vanity Fair where the director talks about the scene with him and I guess is it his grandma?
Oh, the evil lady from
the Reverend Mother.
The Reverend Mother. I don't know if that's his grandma or not, but like head lady in charge.
Right.
She's scary.
The way he broke that down and the way he was talking about that, like he is a fan. Like he is a
this was a love letter to, like you said, it was a love letter to the book.
Yeah, and like even at the end of it, he was like, I wanted to make sure that the strongest critic in my mind, which was like my 14-year-old self, would like enjoy this movie.
That's
And
valid.
like I think he nailed that, and
Yeah.
I thought it was really cool. But
I think as long as he is able to do the other two, then we should get a solid trilogy.
What? Who would switch directors in the middle of a trilogy?
It
That's
doesn't-
just silly.
It doesn't matter.
it
It doesn't matter.
that was cool. Are we gonna read the book? I know I am.
I would like to. I'll be honest and say that I don't quote me on that. Just 'cause-
Right.
I'm going to read the book in May of 2022.
Is that when the next movie is supposed to come out? Or are you
Nope.
just throwing? Okay, cool.
Okay.
I
I mean, I think we have a window before the next.
oh
movie
yeah, that's
comes
Oh,
out.
yeah.
that's why I'm saying
Big,
like
yeah.
this is like perfect like
Big
Yeah.
dog.
for this to be the opening like
So maybe when my
hit.
girls are older, I can actually be like, "Hey, sit down. We'll read a book. Throw in some cocoa melon
Why would you throw in Cocomelon to read a book?
for them."
Oh, so
Oh,
it's-
they are distracted.
I
so
thought
that
you were reading to them.
Yeah, and then like throwing Cocomelon in the
No.
background. I'm like, it's not classical music. Why would you do that?
No, the cocoa melon's for them.
So this name.
Yeah,
Can you pass the
you can't have it
Cavassier?
yeah.
Joaquina.
Have we reached the end of the episode?
I don't know because I feel like we could talk about this a little bit more.
Well, what else
Because
do you
Josh
wanna
made a
talk about?
point about the people of color being subservient.
It was just it didn't I wasn't like bugged by it. It was just something I noticed.
Right.
And I was like, huh,
So and
optics.
So it bugged me at first, right? But then I thought about it and I said, well, this story, the concept around this is very much imperialistic, right? And like going to another place and taming that land for the sake of
Profit.
an emperor and profit and
Spice.
right?
That's very never mind.
Well,
Spice trays, is that what it was called?
yeah, it was spice trades essentially. So the concept around it of them being subservient, at the same time they felt very strong, but it also then went back to like all I heard when Arcades or Atreides was talking was like, I'm here to bring peace, and I was like, oh, this is Iraq all over again.
Oh,
Bum,
no.
bum, ba-dum.
No.
You didn't think it? No one else thought it? I was by myself. I was like, but it's only because we've lived long enough, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to cross references. Like, when did that happen? Versus when did this book come out?
I just felt like it was very like Pocahontas, but like
White saviorism? No.
No, what you mean?
But
They
it
literally
was-
call him. They literally allude to him, like predicting him to be the Messiah, right, or the one. And I'm like, but he's white, and everyone else on this planet is not. Like
I'm sure it'll be
not
explained.
everyone else, but
everyone else was brown-ish.
I'm sure it'll be explained.
It doesn't matter. I mean, Oscar Isaac wasn't black, but he was.
Of color?
But he seemed very white for this.
Oh, really? I didn't think so.
nah, I didn't feel that way.
I didn't
That
feel
that
that
was
way.
Stilgar.
No,
No.
that's the king, the
Leo.
Leto, the Duke,
The dad.
Duke.
Yeah.
With the ring.
Like he
Yeah.
it felt from a very like privileged position, right? Like he didn't seem brown that he related with these people. It was like, no, I'm
But I think he also, I don't think, and I think that was the point of it. He's not the same person. He like, especially the way they made the
Right.
Harkonnens look.
Mhm.
Like the Harkonnens, they come through like
with no eyebrows.
they rape, they pillage, like they are like
Mad Vikings.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking that, but I didn't want to say it. But
Why?
yeah,
the
but he
Vikings are
came-
no longer like an actual.
but he came in saying that he wanted to like actually meet and greet the people. He even sent
No, yeah, I get
Duncan
that.
out there to be like, hey,
He wanted to be better,
yeah.
but I think sometimes even like America comes in with this very much like ploy of peace, and we want to help.
I
We
mean,
want to help.
honestly,
And they're like, oh, you got spice? Oh, you got oil?
But they already knew that.
We're going to stay around for a little bit.
I think the difference here is that the Duke Leto, Oscar Isaac's character, still went in trying to join with the people, but to use them to an end.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Mm.
he was like, they're trying to destabilize my house. I'm gonna do something they didn't even think about. Blat
Right.
Al. desert
right.
power.
Like he was just like get desert power. That's
Yeah.
essentially it. He was like, if I rally them with me, I have enough people to like go up against the emperor. And so like,
Which I'm sure he was trying to go about it in a respectful way, but the underlying current is like you're still trying to use these people
Right.
Yeah.
and not like have them be better for it, but have you be better for it.
Yeah. True.
But, you know, like I said, those are things that we could speculate on being problematic, but like visually taking it at face value, like I said, like they alluded to the strength of the Freemen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And like how they're so capable with so much, like the adversity that
that the world puts upon them.
yeah, but like
Or
everyone else that has ever come to this planet has taken the L for, right?
Mhm.
But like they've been here.
Mm-hmm.
They almost in communion with the sandworms. Like, you know,
Mhm.
hey, you stay out of our way, we stay out of yours, like real circle of life type vibes. And like you said, almost, I hate saying this, but like you said, Pocahontas, right? Like, or like the Avatar,
I was about to say,
you know, where, I mean, honestly, that's telling of history where people came and respected the land and weren't like using it to their means. And then there's another one that's like, oh, y'all got trees? Let's take these trees. Like, you know,
run it.
that's some nice trees.
Unobtainium.
Right. So it's, I feel like that story is getting recycled so much more often. Like when we tell these large scale movies and tales, because that's essentially all it boils down to. Privileged people come to a new land, think they can take land, and then
Were they trying to gentrify Iraq?
they kind of were though, right?
I think we'll have to call it on that one. Man.
But they kind of were though, right? Think about it, right? Think about it with
Was the emperor
with
like the
Pocahontas,
CEO of
the Disney
OCF
movie.
or something like that?
Think about Pocahontas. Hold on. No. Don't you chicken out on me, man. You think about
No,
Avatar.
I think I will. I think I'm going to. I think I'm going to do that.
You think about Avatar,
Uh-huh.
right? Where white guy shows up.
Uh-huh.
He's the hero of our story,
It's true.
but you know he can change his skin color when he wants to, and this was very much another one of those things, right?
So, question.
I don't think I want to hear.
No, you're good. You're good.
You're
It's fine.
fine.
If so,
Poor
and-
Sterling, he just gets dragged along with it.
but I had the same question for
Cruella.
no. We were talking about this off camera about you, like this
Oh no.
the story you, the show you.
Oh, okay.
Had the same thing about you, Sterling.
you. It's almost a wonder of, would anybody be upset? How would it be received if a treatise was like, I don't know, a bit more mixed, right? Like,
Mhm.
or just had more people of color,
Sure.
or let's make even Paul a person of color.
Yeah.
Once again, I haven't read the book, so I don't know if they like describe his skin being like
Bronze.
ivory glisten, you know, like it just, you know, I don't know.
I mean, it doesn't matter. He's the hero.
Yes.
I mean, if people are
For
gonna
the-
freak out
when the-
about
listen.
about Ariel, I think
Right. That's what I said. It doesn't it matters to us, but to the main gen pop, right? Like a pop, you know, the purveyors of pop culture. It doesn't matter. Like by default, well, white, right? Like you make a Jesus character. Jesus, for some reason, y'all figured out Jesus was white, and you know, you take Neo, Keanu Reeves. No hate. Glad he did it. He's one of my favorite actors when watching him play this. But the hero figure is often backed up by a secondary character who's brown. And that way everybody feels better. You get a Morpheus, you got Buddy from Free Guy, callback. You got you got Jimmy for Supergirl. Like, you know, you can't go wrong if you got a good black guy or a good brown person next to you as just secondary.
so like, but okay. So then let's do this. Who of color would you have put in like Paul? Like,
As a Paul?
would it be? Because I think Daniel Kaluuya is too old, right?
Daniel Kaluuya is too old. I would almost
Lakeith
say
Stanfield's also too
Yeah.
old.
I would-
The kid from
Caleb.
yeah, I was about to say.
Hey, I mean,
Or-
Caleb is
Or Shamik Moore.
no. Shamik is kind of quiet. We don't talk about Shamik right now. So, it is what it is.
I don't even know what that means, but
I'll tell you when you get older.
Caleb would
yeah.
probably be like a good call.
Yeah, or the kid from Raising Dion.
I feel like he's a little too young. Yeah.
You're talking about like the child, like
yeah,
Dion?
there's a reason that I'm not the casting director or producer or executive producer.
Not yet. You'll get there.
You get there, man.
You are head of HR.
Do I get to end the episode now? Then?
No. We're still going. We're almost there. I feel like we're hitting that lull now, but I feel like, to Josh's point, right? Like, we have to be smart at least with the picks, right? But if the story has already been written for this kind of person, this kind of character,
Right.
like you said, like, we all know Hobbits is white, so you can't have a black Hobbit.
Dude, is that a thing?
J.R.R. Tolkien was like, the Hobbits are white.
Oh.
The persons of color that were in the movie, if you go back, they were the aggressive rape and pillagers. They were either orcs or they were the people who had the elephants. And they were the only brown people. Everybody else, Middle Earth. So it is what it is. Lord of the Rings still one of my favorite books, but it's less so as time goes on.
Even whatchamacallit was Thorin Oakenshield? Thorin?
Yeah. It is what it is. You gotta accept those things.
I think I'm sad now.
I'm sorry. But I think as time goes on and we write our stories, because we'll always say that, and as more of us brown folks and people of color create, we will get the characters and heroes and heroines that we want, because people will know how to write them not white.
Not white.
Because after a while, you just get that white saviorism and you're just kind of like, this is the norm.
The norm's definitely being challenged, I believe.
I mean,
I think this movie had the
a
challenge.
man comes from space and then all of a sudden he's the Messiah?
I mean,
what?
Like this book has this movie has the challenge of its original story being written in the 60s and now it's being produced like
That's
now,
what I'm saying.
right?
Like you
Yes.
can't combat that. That's the source material unless you change it and then like get hate for it.
I can't wait until I read it and see if it could have been changed. Like, unless it specifically states, right? Like,
See,
you have what is it?
I was about to say
creative
something
freedom.
I was about to say something real cynical, but I won't do it.
I think you have creative freedom to make changes, but at the same time, is the director thinking these things?
Right.
Like,
who's in control, right?
Right,
Who's
yeah,
like the producers,
Who
they're
is
like-
in the room?
they're like,
when it happens?
right.
who's in the room where it
They're like,
happens?
do we give
Who's-
Jesus abs? Do we
who's
give him
showing
long
up for the
perm
audition?
hair?
Like,
Yeah.
it's a lot of stuff.
I don't know why it got heavy, but I feel like those are things
That's
that
what we
we
do.
had to think about with this movie because it was an okay movie, but then like, let's break it down. Sometimes you just gotta break it down. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. This is Big Dan telling you to go buy a sweatshirt. It's getting cold outside.
We got sweatshirts. We got Patreon. We got
Patreon.
options. If you like to support us, if you like to see us with better, I was about to say better material.
Better material is always a good thing. Better material.
Better production value because of equipment. If you like to see some new shades, Josh gets some new hats. Dan got the
That
new
seems
reps.
frivolous. I feel like y'all want better lighting. Like that's just probably it.
Let us know.
Better cameras.
Let us know.
Better
When you
cameras.
join the Patreon, just put in a comment like, yo, I want my money to go towards X, Y, and Z.
And we'll shout you out.
Yeah.
We love our bar.
Good night, everybody.